Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice for radio, so today I am showing you why Darkness may well still be the best type in the expanded format of the Pokemon trading card game. We've talked about Darkness decks before, we've said they're good before, and I hate to say it, ladies and gentlemen, but not a whole lot has changed, except they've actually gotten better. So to start off talking about the main Pokemon, we have got our old friend, Baby Yveltal. Hey Nick, and there's a couple of reasons why the non-EX Yveltal is so gosh darned important here. First of all, it accelerates energy. As we're going to see with the Breakpoint Darkrai EX in a minute, accelerating energy is incredibly important here, and it's something that just really needs to be focused on. It's something that you can't really win without accelerating energy in a lot of games. This allows you to do so very nicely. It does give you a non-EX, non-GX attacker. It can do Darkness Blade 100 for free energy, but that's not really what you're focused on here. It is all about Oblivion Wing. But the other crucial thing here is you're generally revolving around the two Darkrai EXs and the Darkrai GX. You're giving up two prizes, so decks like Night March, which did win the last big expanded tournament in Fort Wayne, can sometimes take advantage of that, taking out your EXs and GXs with a non-EX, non-GX, putting the prize race in their favour. Well, Yveltal will get a one-hit KO on Joltik as a 30 HP Pokemon, and on Pumpkaboo as a Pokemon with 60 HP and a weakness to Darkness, so actually here he's pretty good against that. Speaking of the Darkrais, we have of course got the one from Breakpoint here, 20 damage plus 20 more for each Darkness energy on your field. As we're going to see in a moment, ladies and gentlemen, there's so many different ways we've got of getting Darkness energy on the field here that this adds up very quickly. You get enough Darkness energy on the field, you can one-hit KO absolutely anything, and that is something which is realistic in this deck. Now you do have Dark Head, 160 for free energy if your opponent's Pokemon is asleep, and you're playing Hypnotoxic Laser, so it's possible. But then you play the Hypnotoxic Laser, flip a coin, 50-50 chance to put them to sleep, and as long as you do it the turn you're about to use Dark Head, you're fine. Because otherwise they've got a 50-50 chance of waking up before their turn, and then a 50-50 chance of waking up after their turn, and they're just not going to be staying asleep long enough for you to get use out of this. The problem is, you really want 2 energy on each Breakpoint Darkrai to use Dark Pulse, so that when a Darkrai goes down, you only lose 2 energy, because you've spread your energy around the field. It's one of the best things about Dark Pulse. You can put your energy everywhere, and you don't lose much when Darkrai goes down. Well, the problem is that if you prepare for Dark Head, you've got free energy on there, and then if you flip Tails on a Hypnotoxic Laser, that third energy is in the wrong place and it's doing nothing for you. It's not terribly convenient, ladies and gentlemen. You've got the Dark Explorer's Darkrai EX, and really here this is not a great attacker anymore. It's just massively overshadowed by the other Darkrai. You've still got Dark Cloak giving all of your Pokemon free retreat when they have Darkness energy attached to them. You can still hit 30 to the bench, but free energy is too expensive given the Breakpoint Darkrai. 90 damage is too little given the Breakpoint Darkrai. But the new Darkrai GX, now that is something which is incredibly useful in this deck. We've got Restoration. It allows you to just take Darkrai from your discard and put it onto your bench with a Darkness energy attached to it. So in theory, with 2 or 3 of these in your discard pile, you can instantly get 2 or 3 extra Darkness energy onto the bench so that you can accelerate your energy, do more damage with your Breakpoint Darkrai, and you're always getting that extra damage. Every one of these is like an extra muscle band. Getting 2 of these is like getting a Choice Band and a Laser Verbank combination, because you'll be doing 60 with 3 of them. It is a little bit stupid. Now the main attack here isn't one you want to be using often. Again, 130 for free. You should be doing more with Breakpoint Darkrai. But the GX attack, Dead End GX, that is great. Instant KO on any Pokemon if they're affected by a special condition. So you play Hypnotoxic Laser here, and then they're poisoned, and then you KO them for free energy. And of course, one of those energy is always going to be on there because you can use the restoration ability to get it from the discard to the bench with an energy attached. And really here, it is Breakpoint Darkrai with the GX coming in for energy acceleration and the GX attack. Now, in terms of other Pokemon, we have got a few options. We've got Yveltal EX, which is good because it's got a different weakness to your other Darkrai's. Your Darkrai's are weak to fighting, which makes them vulnerable to Marshadow, whereas this is resistant to fighting, but as an attacker, it's just underwhelming compared to Breakpoint Darkrai. And it's just not worth playing, to be honest. It's just not as good. Now, if you're expecting a fighting heavy meta, because Gardevoir decks are still going to be everywhere and they're still going to be playing Gallade as well, if you are expecting a fighting heavy meta, then yes, you've either got to not play Darkness or you've got to play Yveltal. Other than that, it's not worth playing. You've got Shaman to draw cards and Hooper to search out 3 of your EXs. You probably want a Dark Explorer's Darkrai EX in most games. And Breakpoint Darkrai is your main attacker, and you can use Shaman to accelerate energy, so it can be fun here to use Hooper EX. And as a side note, if you want to be going with this, then maybe using Skyfield is a good idea, because you need space to get your Hooper, your Shaman, all your Darkrai's, etc. out, but it also helps that when that Skyfield gets discarded, either with a Field Blower or by your opponent playing another stadium, then you can get to discard the Shaman, Hooper, etc., clear them off your bench so they're not easy targets. Because, of course, Hooper is weak to Psychic. Bit of an issue, really, when you've got the whole Pumpkaboo thing running around. You've got Sudowoodo. Sudowoodo here is very simple. It's a Rayquaza counter. Rayquaza is a good deck still in Expanded. Rayquaza in his Emerald Break attack can still get a one-hit KO on all of your Darkrai. So, playing a Sudowoodo here means they can only have 4 Pokemon on their bench, means they can only be hitting for 120, means that they're very unlikely to be able to get those one-hit KOs. And they're not going to be playing Ability Lock because they need abilities with Shaman, Dragonite, Hooper just as much as you do. So Sudowoodo, it's a Rayquaza counter, simple as that. If you don't think you're going to be playing against Rayquaza, feel free to drop this. And Malamar. Now, if you're playing Malamar, you may well not be playing Hypnotoxic Laser. I love Malamar. Of course, it is vulnerable to Ability Lock, but you attach an energy to Malamar, and your opponent's active Pokemon instantly goes to sleep. It means that you can actually use Dark Head reliably on the Breakpoint Darkrai, rather than having a hope you flip ahead on Laser. And it means that you're getting that KO with Darkrai GX. But you've got to be putting your energy somewhere in this deck. You might as well put it on Malamar. And as a side note, you could play Energy Switch here to put the energy onto Malamar, and then Energy Switch it onto the Pokemon with whom you wish to attack. Could be a little bit of fun. Maximar is a nice kind of Hail Mary attack. Flip a coin for each energy attached to Malamar, and 60 damage times the number of heads, and it's alright, but it's not really something you want to be relying on. In theory, you get enough energy down here, and you're just getting big one-hit KOs with Breakpoint Darkrai. That is the main goal of the deck. Now, in terms of other key cards that aren't Pokemon, Hypnotoxic Laser Verbank. You're doing 30 damage between turns with Poison. This adds up quickly. It's good for getting a one-hit KO with Darkrai GX, but it also helps you hit the numbers with the Breakpoint Darkrai, which means that it's going to work. And of course, you've got your usual Choice Band here, and between all the energy on the field, your Choice Band, your Laser Verbank, Breakpoint Darkrai is going to be hitting a lot, and as I keep saying, when he goes down, he loses those 2 energy, but he doesn't lose anything else. Now, I said you need to be accelerating energy here. You need to get that darkness onto the field, and as well as using Yveltal and the Oblivion Wing, and as well as using the Restoration Darkrai GX, you've got Dark Patch, which is just crazy good. Attach a darkness from your discard to one of your bench, and you've got Max Elixir where you look at the top 6 cards of your deck, and if you find a basic energy there, you can attach it to a benched basic Pokemon. And all of your Pokemon are basic. The ace spec you really want here is Dowsing Machine. You've got too many good items that you want to reuse. Dark Patch, Max Elixir, Hypnotoxic Laser. It's too good, ladies and gentlemen. You need to be playing Dowsing Machine. It really is the only ace spec of choice here. Although, speaking of choices, I've said Choice Band is good, but actually Fighting Fury Belt might be better, because you're already adding damage with every Darkness energy that hits the field. You're already adding damage with Hypnotoxic Laser Verbank, assuming you're playing that over Malamar. So maybe here you play Fighting Fury Bout. Yeah, you're only doing 10 extra damage rather than 30, but you're gaining 40 HP. And like I've said, you've got a completely basic deck here, so it may well be that Fighting Fury Belt is better. What I would say is, if you're playing both Fighting Fury Bout and Malamar, over playing Choice Band and Hypnotoxic Laser Verbank, you could potentially be missing some numbers in the mid to late game. I've already mentioned Skyfield. You need a lot of Pokemon, especially with Hooper. This is your stadium of choice. You could play Reverse Valley to do an extra 10 damage, but I think Skyfield is more useful here. It's not just about being able to bench the Pokemon, it's being able to discard them. You need to be playing Field Blower or Startling Megaphone. You need your abilities here. Darkrai GX and Darkrai from Dark Explorers and your Hooper and your Shaman. So playing Startling Megaphone or Field Blower, it's just for Garbodor. Get rid of that tool off Garbodor, turn their ability off, which turns your ability on. And of course, Battle Compressor. Battle Compressor is amazing in this deck. You can discard the Darkrai GX, you can discard the Dark Energy. Darkness Energy needs to be discarded for Darkrai GX and for Yveltal's Oblivion Wing and for Dark Patch. And of course, Darkrai needs to be discarded. Battle Compressor is ridiculously good, but in this deck, it's better than it's possibly ever been before. It's crazy good. And there are some bad matchups for this. Like I've said, anything that can easily one-hit KO you can stop you getting enough energy on the field. Night March can be an issue, but with Fighting Fury Bout, you should have high enough HP, especially with the resistance to Pumpkaboo, that you should be able to get through this, not to mention Baby Yveltal helping you out. Rayquaza can be an issue, but Sudowoodo helps you out brilliantly there. And fighting Pokemon like Gallade and Marshadow can be an issue, but they can be dealt with by Yveltal, or just... It might be a metagame call, to be perfectly honest. The other thing is that these fairy decks have a resistance to darkness, so something like Gardevoir won't just be playing Gallade, they'll also be resisting you to have an effective 250 HP. It's not perfect, but in terms of hitting hard and hitting fast, it's great. If it doesn't play against a hard counter, it's an amazing deck. But even when it does, you've got enough options there. And something like Malamar to put that Gardevoir to sleep every turn could easily turn it in your favour. I'm not saying it's hands down the best deck in the expanded format, but I am saying it's right up there. But if you disagree, I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio, because that's where the live action happens. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus pods, jump the queue to play me on stream, etc., then check out patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.